Hello and welcome back to Creativity. I'm Cyndi Burnett.
I'm Barney Saltzberg.
So this weekend is World Creativity and Innovation Day. So Barney and I thought we would come up with 5 tips that we would give you each that would help you bring out your creativity for World Creativity and Innovation Day, as well as the whole year. So Barney, would you like to start us off with one of your tips?
Absolutely. Number 1, I'm sitting in my space where I create. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have a space like this. Not that you necessarily want to be here, but even if it's a corner of your room, your kitchen table, your dining room, your car, a place where you can create is a great start. That's the first.
Okay, thanks, Barney. So my first one is to have plants. So I was never a plant person because I could never keep them alive. And I think especially if you're one of those people who can't keep plants alive, you definitely need plants. And the reason why I think it's important to have plants in your house is because it serves as a marker of how you are living your life. So if you can't give your little plant a little bit of water every few days, then you're probably too busy, you're probably overwhelmed, and you're probably not taking care of yourself and those around you. So in terms of like comforting, caring, and nurturing your creative self, your life will be too busy if you have dead plants all the time. So I use that as a marker, and I plant in every room. So when I'm sitting there, I think, yep, I'm doing okay because my plants are okay.
They're like canary in the coal mine.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. All right. So I got that. All right. All right. Good. My second one, which now makes it 3, is to take 5 minutes a day to create. I think it can be overwhelming to think I don't have enough time to do something. Clearly, if you get really inspired, you can keep going. But even if you're kind of not sure what you want to even be doing, take 5 minutes a day and commit to something. It could be drawing, it could be writing, it could be thinking, it could be poetry, whatever your creativity desire is, but make it a 5-minute commitment. It could be 5 days a week, but I think that would really be helpful.
Barney, I'm going to build on that for number 4, which is to take on a creative project every season. And so we could do it in your way in 5 minutes a day. But I like to look on Pinterest, or I might get inspired when I'm talking to someone and I see something that they've made. And I think, oh my gosh, I would love to have the time to do that. And we think that we need all this time to create. But as you said, sometimes it's just a matter of 5 minutes. So last year I saw this wreath that came across one of my social media feeds, and it was made out of acorns. Acorns? No, pine cones. It was pine cones. And so my kids and I, we went searching for pine cones around the neighborhood, and we collected all these pine cones. And I spent several weeks making this wreath that looked like flowers out of pine cones. And just doing something with my hands and actually watching the progress of a project, one specific project, gives you such great energy to do other things that are creative. So 5 minutes a day, as you said, and taking on a specific project that you can see through from beginning to end.
I'm going to build on yours just for a second within it. I'm not adding my extra one, but when you talked about using your hands to do it, a concept that I've become aware of as I've created some of my pop-up books and interactive books is thinking with your hands. Sometimes just the act of taking an object into your hands and starting to play with it, as opposed to trying to preconceive it before you start, is a different part of your brain, and you might enjoy trying it because you got your pine cones, and once you started playing with them, things happen. So that's another part. Okay, I like that. I have back to 5 again. Writing for 5 minutes a day. It could be journaling if you're working on a story or a poem or a song. Again, committing to 5 minutes. And if you are journaling and you think this is stupid, I have nothing to say, write that. And then if you make yourself work, take your watch out or set a timer, make it 5 minutes, you will push past it into something that you might not be. It's almost like thinking with your, not thinking, you're just flowing out ideas. Something will happen. And at the end of a 5-day work week, you've got 5 days, 5 minutes a day, 25 minutes of writing. Something will be there eventually. So I would just encourage that.
I like that. All right, my next one is around becoming a newbie. And I think oftentimes, especially as we get older, we forget what it's like to not know something and learn it from the start. So I like to find courses, and there's so many courses you can take online, but even in-person courses, to just go and do a 1 hour seminar in something and become a newbie, and start to make associations between the new thing that you're learning and all the other knowledge you've acquired in your life. So starting to make connections by being a newbie.
I like that. Okay. All right. I'm losing track of how many we're on now.
I am too.
Okay.
We'll just keep going.
Numbers are not our thing.
Mm-mm.
So another one is failure. And failure is a really tough word. I don't know that I would even say failure, but I think for some people, if you do create something and you show it to someone and they give you feedback that isn't necessarily positive in your mind, you need to, I would really suggest I do this. So I'll say I push through it anyway. I'm also aware of who I show my work to. When you have certain friends who like to just think they're helping you by being brutally honest, and it might not be what you need to continue being creative. It sometimes can be crippling to hear that stuff. So be careful who you show your work to. And if it even is someone that you do respect and admire their ideas, if it's not something that makes them jump up and down, it's not a reason to stop. I think we have to keep that movement moving forward regardless of what the response is. And otherwise, you're just not going to create it all. That's that.
Yeah. All right, my next one is around breathing it in. So building on what you just said, Barney, I think, when we are living a creative life, we have the ups and downs, we have the excitement, the positive energy, we feel joy, but it's also ambiguous and complex and frustrating, and it can be sad or depressing when someone comes at us with negative feedback or not jumping up and down. And I think sometimes we just focus on okay, we just need to get to the end. But really, if you want to live a creative life, I think you have to soak it all in. So you just have to, what I call, breathe it in. So when you have those moments, you just go, this is part of it. This is part of it. This is part of the joy. This is part of the complexity. This is part of the ambiguity. And if you do that, then you can manage to get to the next stage of whatever that is. And then when you look back, you can say, yeah, I really lived a creative life, and I understand what it's like to fall on my face and to fail and to not get acceptance on one of my ideas. And so I think breathing it in is a really important aspect.
I like that. I don't think I remember to breathe enough. I mean, clearly I'm still here, so I'm breathing, but that real taking it in thing. So as you're talking, the last time I'm going to talk about, when we talk about, I've done beautiful oops, which is taking what you think you've messed up and playing with it. And play is a word that I use a lot. I think that by playing, instead of being very serious that this is how it has to be, when things mess up and you play and keep pushing, other things happen. There's a dog painting behind my head. And I started out doing that. I bought these big canvases on sale with no idea what I was going to do with them. I actually made a pencil sketch on that, and it's really big because it's far back, so it's big. And I started painting on it, and the paint started dripping. It's on an easel, and I thought, I can't erase this. So I had really good music on. It was some John Mayer live thing. And I just started moving my hand to it. And that happened. There was no planning on it. Just this purple thing ended up becoming an oval and became a dog because I was playing and I didn't stop. A lot of people will go, well, I just dripped on this canvas, so I'm done. Moving forward. That helps.
Yeah, it does. And I love those paintings you've been doing.
Yes.
So my final one is around tapping into that part of us that brings the most joy creatively. And, in World Creativity and Innovation Week and Day, we look at, how do we bring creativity into the world? And a lot of that starts with who we are as human beings. And I think if we can tap into that joy and that place of wonder in whatever that looks like for us. I know for you, Barney, it's a lot around music and playing music. And for me, it's around singing and dancing to musical theater. At the heart of who I am a Muppet on stage in a musical. And when I have a bad day, I have to tap into that because it's the part of me that makes me feel the most alive. So whatever it is that you have in your life that makes you feel alive, make sure you find time for that every single day. Even again, if it's only 5 minutes. So.
Yep. And I just to finish with that,
Mm.
I am turning 64 this month, and it's pretty crazy. I don't feel it unless I look in the mirror. I create every day, and I can't imagine life without it, whether it's picking up a guitar. I have a new thing now. I'm doing little Instagram guitar breaks. I literally take a guitar break to play the guitar, and I take a break on the guitar to play along with something for maybe a minute. And just that gives me a whole new sense of commitment and energy and fun to go back to work. I'd love somebody to be paying me for those guitar breaks or not, just to play. And that I would encourage you to take time, because it just zips if you don't, and you won't feel like you did anything if you don't. So
I love it, Barney. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope that you share some of your tips in our comment section on our YouTube station and our Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining us.
And if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Thanks.